Jagex has yet again dropped another blog post on us. This is the blog post that is the actual update for this morning. So there's a lot to talk about, including the combat achievements to Var Lamore. So Coliseum and Moons of Peril are getting some combat achievements. I've glanced over this blog a little bit, and I do have some hot takes potentially on stuff. And I also want to readdress some of the concerns with the previous ramble I made yesterday with BC Guppy. That was actually a segment from his cast, by the way, but so it's not technically a ramble. It was a ramble, but it was kind of a cast. I didn't want to like duplicate a cast and a ramble together, so I just decided it was just a cast. But I want to talk a little bit more about the occult changes, or the occult changes to that. So because I do think there's a few things that have kind of changed my mind on based on some Reddit feedback and some Twitter feedback. So there's a lot to talk about. But first, before we get into it, I don't do this often enough, and I just want to say how much I love my channel members that have been supporting me for a long time, and they don't get enough recognition. So I'm giving them recognition today, right now. Colin K, Renegades, Charles DC, Skate Rat, Crazy Halo 54, Civil Assassin, Alan, Vidsec, and Liam. You are all amazing. Thank you so much for your support. My channel is literally just like discussion-based stuff for the most part, so your guys' willingness to chuck me a couple bucks each month it goes a long way, so I greatly appreciate it. If you guys do want to support, down in the description, if you guys want to become one of the Scythe Bays or the Scythe Basics, just for $2 or a little bit more if you guys want per month, you can support me greatly, so I appreciate it. Anyway, that's all I wanted to do, just give a little bit of recognition. Thank you guys. Now, let's get in. Oh, I also want to somebody said they like it when I like do these taste tests with these drinks. So I got a grape, what is this thing called? Ultraviolet Monster. It's ice cold right now. So we're going to pop this open, give it a little sippy sip. Woo! Oh yeah, that's good. Tastes like medicine. No, I don't really like grape stuff for the most part. Like grape soda is always just like the last thing that I ever want. But this thing's pretty good. Tastes like what does it taste like? It tastes like one of those like Flintstone vitamins. You guys remember as kids the Flintstone vitamin? I got to get into this record. Okay, let's just pull this up right now so it looks like I'm actually doing something, not just sipping this thing. It tastes like a Flintstone vitamin into a liquid form. Like a grape Flintstone vitamin. However you can imagine that, that's what this tastes like. But it's not bad. And it has caffeine, so, you know, that's all I'm really here for. And it's ice cold. All right. Let's get into this. This is like the longest intro of all time. Actually, not the longest intro of all time. It's up there, though. Undead Pirates, Tweaks, Varlamore CAs, and more. So we actually have covered this blog down... where is it? Well, a lot of this stuff we've already talked about. So basically, I don't want to go into the full thing because let's see. How are we going to do this? Should we just start? Maybe we should just start from down here instead of reading all like the updates, because this is just actually a pull down menu. So maybe I should just start from here. Now, they have finally, I'm not going to cover every single thing on here right now because this is all stuff I've talked about in previous rambles. But basically, they've readjusted the zombie pirate teleport anchoring scroll thing, so now it's 4 times more common. So I think on average it's roughly around like 5,000 of those zombies or whatever, or like fewer, and then you use the keys on the chest or whatever. I haven't even touched it, but that's pretty much what has happened. They've made it so you can now get blighted restores from the agility arena, and they finally moved the clue steps, hopefully all 3 of them. I think there's like a hot cold. I wonder if they moved the hot cold step. I doubt they did that, to be honest. I'm doubtful on that one because there's a hot cold master glue step out here, but there is a hard and an elite over here as well, so hopefully those have been moved. I'm curious where they've been moved to because I don't think they really say where unless it's down below. Ring of Wealth now interacts properly with medium clues as well, so that's really nice. And there's like a few other things, but pretty much things we've touched on. So here it is. Nice. The hard clue step formerly requiring you to enter the wilderness has been moved to the ice plateau. Here? Is that what it's saying? So, like, there's one right here, and now there's one right here. Okay. Well, that's good enough for me. I like that. And then what about the elite? Oh, wait. Oh, this is the picture up above. Okay, I was going to say, this isn't the ice plateau. Okay, this is where the hard one is. great. I actually like that. That's not bad. This is where the Master Clue has been moved to the south. Where the hell's the elite? Wait, what? Similar Master Clue step has been moved just southeast of the course. It's not a master. It's got to be an elite. Because there is a master that's up here, but that's a cabbage man. It's like a hot clue. Hot cold step, I think, right? And then there's like an elite one right here, and then there's a hard one right here. Whatever. I'm assuming this is probably the master clue step one, I'm assuming, right? Hopefully. We'll see. Somebody let me know down in the comments if you've had that clue step since. All right, Varlamore combat achievements. You've had plenty of time to get grips with the new combat challenges Varlamore offers, so we've thrown a few complications into the mix. Okay, can I just be fully honest with you guys? Whenever CAs drop, I get so stressed out. Like I just like instant stress, anxiety-inducing stuff. Can you imagine if like once every several months we had to do like brand new achievement diaries, like normal achievement diaries, just to like upkeep? You're just like, oh my god. But whatever. This is what I signed up for. Getting a Zuck helmet. It's painful. Maybe I should just be content with a Verzik helmet at this point, because now I'll get around to these. But what's depressing, this is my own fault, by the way, but I have already fully green logged this Forsaken place. So I got to go back to Moon's Apparel. But that's fine. You've had plenty. Yeah, sorry, I read that. You may now take on 12 new combat achievements for Perilous Moons and 13 for the Coliseum. So let's see these. Open the reward chest after defeating all 3 moons. Open the reward chest 5 times. Open it 25 times. So these, you know, if you're just trying to get some easy ones, these are pretty simple. These are all in the medium tier. Defeat 3 moons using only a Dragon Scimitar. Defeat all 3 moons in 1 run under 8 minutes. Sounds easy enough. And then it goes from hards, and then there's one elite. What is the elite one? Defeat a moon before they start their special attack. Great. So that's just get really good claw specs or whatever. Yeah, sounds nice. And it's just 1 moon, by the way. So you don't have to do all 3 of them in a run or anything crazy. So the craziest one is probably you have to be wearing a full set of its associated armor while defeating a moon. So this is a hard thing. So you really have to have done a lot of moons in order to fully complete this thing, which realistically Moons of Peril is one of like the easiest things to complete. It took like, what does it take, like 20 hours or something if you have like max gear? Probably even less, to be honest. All right, Fortis Coliseum. So these look all right. I kind of glanced over them. Let's see them again. So the elite ones, complete wave 7 without taking any unavoidable mana core damage. Wave 4 and 7. Wave 7 is the Minotaur ever healing. So don't have the Minotaur ever heal. Easy enough. Kill a Jaguar warrior while using a claw type weapon special attack. Perfect. Defeat Soul, which is a master. So you just get your quiver as a master. Defeat Soul with the Zamorakian Hosta. Defeat Soul after Fortis saluting to the northeast, south, and west of the arena while he's below 10% hit points. So easy enough that really, like, it sounds like just kind of obnoxious. It sounds like it'll be glitchy. Like, it literally sounds like you're going to do it, and it's just not going to count for some fucking reason. I can already just see that happening. But hopefully it's coded well, and this is easy enough. Just literally eat up and make the salute really quickly. Complete Wave 11 with either Red Flag, Dynamic Duo, or Doom 2. Or? So not even all 3 of them, just or. Okay, that's like the easiest thing ever. Complete the Coliseum with a total time of 28 minutes or less. That is very slow, it feels like. Defeat Soul 10 times. Okay, I'm at 9 completions, so that's not bad. Defeat Soul without running. So this is going to be something where you're going to have to purposely miss ticks. Like if it shields once, just get prepared for the shield twice, basically. Like just back up, waste a few ticks, and back up just, you know, to the 2 tiles that you'll need to do. That seems like the only really challenging thing about that is just remembering if it shields once, just prepare for the shield twice. Defeat Soul without taking any damage from a spear, shield, grapple, or triple attack. Sheesh. Okay, perfection. I like that. Defeat Soul with the Bees 2, Quartet, and Solar Flare 2 modifiers active. Jesus Christ. At least they've nerfed Bees dramatically, so it shouldn't be... Quartet's easy. Bees is annoying, but you can deal with it because they're slow as hell, and Solar Flare 2. And it's not like you have to do anything. It's not like you have to do this and Perfection at once or anything. It's just do this. Although that would be really cool to see a Perfection with this combined. And then complete the Coliseum with a total time of 24 minutes to left. 24 minutes or less. So easy enough, especially if you have max gear. This is gonna just, I'm surprised it's 24 minutes. Like, it seems really slow. I was literally expecting like 21 minutes or something, but 24, I mean, I'll take that all day. Hell yeah. It just means I can't like do the noob tubing method, you know? Noob tubing as in just like maging everything and just like taking my dear sweet time. Just like long ranging and blood barraging everything. I keep forgetting my clients over here. This is why I'm not fletching these magic longs. All right, so this next part is amazing. So in other news, we're updating our guidelines for third-party clients, including RuneLite and HDOS. It just sounds, it's not actually pronounced HDOS, right? HDOS, is that what people are thinking? HDOS sounds like you're getting doxxed or something, or DDoSed. Firstly, we're removing the following from our disallowed features list. Any plugin which unhides, hides, or moves components of a spellbook interface. So this is now eliminated. Resizing components of a spellbook interface is still prohibited. Okay, so come on. Like, it's so weird because like we're literally in like, it feels like we could see the light at the end of a tunnel where, okay, come on, like this is just so, but I understand the team needs to be very careful with the purists and everything else and the people that don't want any changes made and the PKers that think that all their skill is about like just clicking these fucking like microscopic spells and stuff. Like, I don't know. It is very odd that we're right at the edge where we can just get past all this bullshit of like gatekeeping, just the most stupid things ever. I'm struggling to even like say what I'm trying to say. But I think it's so silly that in 2024, almost midway through, we are still not able to resize stuff purely based on a small, tiny percentage of PKers where like their whole, like everything on their resume is about how like accurately they can click a microscopic fucking spell in their spell book. You know what I mean? Like that is literally the reason we can't resize things. That is the reason. It's like there's like some PKers out in the woodworks that like just still yell about that. Like just, you cannot devalue PK. It's like, bro, who the fuck cares? Like genuinely, who the fuck cares if your spell book's a little bit bigger or your spell that you're clicking ice barrage a little? It's like, oh my God. It's actually so pathetic. It's so pathetic. I'm sorry. I needed to get that off my chest. I think that's like the saddest thing ever, but whatever. Any plugin which adds additional menu entries which cause actions to be sent to the server. This one now includes exceptions for the Max Cave and Diary Cave. Okay. Cool. So they've gotten rid of that. That one's nice. I can't think of any like specific examples necessarily, but it's just making it so you can add additional stuff. So for the most part, like this line could be like crossed potentially, but I think if they're careful about it, this makes perfect sense. Any plugin which modifies menu options for construction, such as prioritizing, build, or remove options. Thank God, genuinely. Thank you. We finally have left-click construction. Like, thank you. Literally, it was the dumbest thing to keep that archaic method around. Okay, listen. The people that were against left-click construction are the people, most of them have already done 200 mil construction, which, you know, fair play. They did it the hard way, whatever. But come on, like it was already basically left-click construction. You just put your fucking mouse. You have to like do this resize bullshit, change your whole client size to just make it so the bench is right next to the chat box, so that the right click and the left click are all on the same pixel, and then you do the right click, left click. But just like it's so stupid. It was so stupid, and it just was like the clunkiest, dumbest thing to ever do, and it's just. I don't know. I'm just so glad they're just finally coming to their senses and just allowing the left-click construction. Left-click construction on my fucking chest. Can I get a 1 down in the comments? Left-click construction. Thank God. Seriously. Especially with the thing, like we already had Mahogany Homes, which is all left-click, basically. Can we just make like traditional construction, not a literal shit show? Like it was actually so painful grinding normal construction. Like so bad. Yeah, it was bad. And that really should not be a part of the game, to have to resize everything to manipulate your client in a certain way and make it so certain menus are like hidden and, just changing things. Like, that should not ever be a factor in any sort of like skilling. It should just be however you're playing, you can manage this simply, and you're keeping all the rhythm to it. Because that's the beautiful part about the construction now is you're keeping all the rhythm to it. You're keeping the nice cycle, the nice tick cycle going in and out, and you're not having to just mess around with all this clunky interfaces and stuff. You just go, 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 and I think that's just so much better, personally. All right, we're allowing players to change elements of a spellbook, largely to give people greater flexibility over their gameplay experience. Most of our interfaces are over 2 decades old and difficult to work with, but this legacy shouldn't discourage us from giving players more freedom to make the UI comfortable. This change also gives us the flexibility to add new spells without worrying that will mess up people's muscle memory, as was the case with the new teleport to Korend requirement. Great. That's amazing. Makes perfect sense. Next, we're allowing players to add additional menu entries specifically to allow for Maxscape and Direcape usability improvements. As we add more teleport options, the menus become harder to navigate, so we're allowing small tweaks that spare players from clicking through multiple dialogue boxes. Saving the spiciest for last, we're allowing players to modify menu options for the construction skill. This is something we'd like to roll out to our own client at some point. That would be amazing. And springs from a desire to make traditional construction training more approachable. Such changes won't improve XP rates, but they will save your wrists. These changes go into effect immediately, though you might have to wait a while for our talented community developers to make the best use of these updated guidelines. I might go for 200 mil construction, boys. I think it's time. Is it time, guys? Let me know if it's time for me to go for 200 mil construction. No. I really wish like Mahogany Homes had better rewards. I know that's like not rewards as in monetary, but something like, I don't know, Clue Scrolls. It doesn't need to be Clue Scrolls, but some sort of cool cosmetics. If you did like a lot of Mahogany Homes, you get an even cooler cosmetic, or even get like some sort of Mahogany Homes pet or something. Like, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, I'm pretty indifferent to that whole thing, but it would feel cool doing Mahogany Homes and knowing you're building up a massive stack of rewards that will actually be worth your time investment. Because right now, it's like the rewards there are so pathetic. Yeah, I don't know. That's my personal. Mahogany Homes is like it's like the good version of what it's like a similar thing to Giant's Foundry, where it's kind of like an Iron Man centered thing where you get to use fewer resources and get more XP out of each resource. But but just the rewards aren't there, I feel like. So I don't know. Anyway, so maybe I'll do some normal default bench making in my house. That actually sounds pretty chill, I'm not gonna lie. Game Jam 5. We're gearing up for our 5th internal Game Jam. This is the time of the year when our devs come together to work on passion projects. In the past, this work has led to content like Scurrious, Project Rebalance, and Perilous Moons. So we can't wait to see what the team comes up with this time. Cool. Coming soon, updated report abuse interface. Oh my God. Is it finally happening? Next week, we'll bring some usability improvements to the in-game report abuse interface. The current menu is awkward in various ways. It can be interrupted during combat, cannot be opened while in another menu, and on mobile, the keyboard obscures the interface completely. So here's an updated version to address all 3 of these problems, which you can expect to see next week. Holy shit. Law-breaking content. Holy shit. It's getting real. His name is Dodgy Git. This opens in the chat box area rather than covering your game view, so it doesn't need to be dismissed by combat. That also means it can stay open while menus like the bank are in use. Plus, it won't be hidden under the keyboard on mobile devices. We've enabled a keyboard shortcut for each rule, too. For example, 7 would report this player for macroing, or 9 would report them for advertising websites. This may be handy if you're often sending reports for the same few rules. The menu's scroll bar remembers its position too, where possible. So you hopefully won't have to scroll up and down too much when you use the menu. Great. If you need to type or edit the name of the player you're reporting, this can be done in the chat box too. As a little extra feature, we're also adding a right-click option to the congratulatory messages you receive when you PK someone, making it easier to report them if you think they were suspicious. Beautiful. Now, while the game team is trying to improve what we can about the game's menus to help you report rule breakers, the back-end systems are not changing in this particular update. This means that other rules, like not being able to report someone if they haven't spoken or traded recently, will remain unchanged. Rest assured that our colleagues in the player support and anti-cheating teams are doing all they can to root out the rule breakers from our community, and they do appreciate the in-game reports you sent them. We hope that next week's update will make it easier for you all to help them out. Beautiful. An extra feature you may notice is the law-breaking content button. We've added this new button to make it more straightforward to report illegal content to us. Very rarely you may see chat related to illegal topics that are not fully covered by our game rules. For now, reporting illegal content is restricted to residents of EU member state countries, although we may expand this rule in the future. To be clear, most of the rule-breaking behavior players encounter is already covered by our game rules, and in those situations, the regular in-game report option is the best way to let us know about the issue. Okay, we want to take a moment to congratulate the mods over on our official Discord server for hosting a super successful event this past weekend, including Guardians of the Rift runs and a mass hide-and-seek. We'd also like to thank everyone who took a part in our recent Discord survey. Okay. Other changes, Easter event got removed. I got the one like music track from there by just literally standing south of the Grand Exchange, so we're good. Wall beasts are now stay inside the walls. Wait, what? They were coming outside the walls? Oh, fuck. The new... Oh, my God. Okay, Jungle Eagles, something. Fixed an issue with the collection log search function on mobile. Okay, Just Assured now categorizes correctly as metal armor. And some crash issues. Cool. Okay, so I want to talk briefly. This all looks great. I even think the combat achievements are fine. Who was I talking to lately? Was it No Monkey? Yeah, it was No Monkey for sure, where he just doesn't want as many CAs coming out. Like, he just feels like, you know, I think he was the one advocating maybe just bring out like 4 or 5 CAs total to like the Coliseum, something that like when they're all relevant or something. But I understand. I don't know. I kind of lean on his view where you don't need to just come out with an absurd amount of these achievements, but ultimately it is just a one-time completion, so per account. And I think this amount is pretty healthy. 12, what is it? 12 and 13. Yeah, not bad. I mean, 12 for Perilous Moons is kind of a lot, I'll be fully honest, but like Perilous Moons could have literally been like 6 in my personal opinion. Fortis Coliseum could have been like 10, but I don't think they're going overboard with it, so I'm fine. Okay, I want to talk now about the occult changes. So there are multiple ways to look at this, and I want to just share a few of my like updated kind of responses toward this whole thing. So the occult, where I don't know if they're making any changes so far. I know they're still gathering feedback, like the team is gathering feedback, but basically the occult now has 4%, and I'm going to just change my view right now and say that I really do think the occult should be 6%. Which is the view I held for a long time. I think 6% is actually... I feel like it's a healthier change to keep occult at 6%. Make ancestral robes only 3% each. And then Virtus can still be 2%, whatever. These other ones can be 1%. And I would even say like the Chaos robes could be 1%. And then some of those offhand shields could also get some additional mage damage bonus, because what we've realized as a community in general is mage accuracy mostly doesn't have that much use, especially at like early low level grinds. Like you really just want an extra max hit potentially if possible. So something like the Malediction Ward, something like the Mage's Book, something like the Arcane. I mean, the Arcane is not really an example, but like these kind of lesser tier versions, even a Mage's Book, or not the Mage's Book, but maybe like a the Book of Darkness or whatever that thing is called, that from that Dagannoth quest. I can't even remember these things anymore, but you know what I'm talking about. Like those things could get those 0.5% or 1% or 1.5% damage increases. I wouldn't even say you need to go to the point of 0.5 percentages. I think ones are totally fine. And then somebody was saying, Augury is giving 4% now. Why not allow the lesser tier prayers to get a little bit? So maybe Mystic Will, the first one, is still 0, or 0.5 if we wanted to do the 0.5s. And then the second one would be 1%, and then Mystic Might. Is Mystic Might the third one? I have my client, but it's kind of... Yeah, Mystic Might. So Mystic Might would be a 2%. Mystic Lore would be 1%, and then maybe Mystic Will would be like 0.5% or something like that. And then Augury would be the 4%. So there is a massive double increase with Augury, but at least these other ones could actually help you in some way, because right now those prayers basically just do nothing for you. So let me know what you guys think about all that. I do think that bringing the Occult back to 6% actually would be fine. Just simply because amulets really are supposed to be like the powerhouse for the most part. At least when it comes to when you look at melee and range, Masori's not giving as much as an Anguish, although it's getting close at this point technically. But like Torva plate body is +6. You're not seeing the Torva plate body getting that full 10 strength like a Torture is. So I just actually feel like the 6%. This is, and again, I remain somewhat indifferent, but I definitely lean on keeping the Occult at 6%. I think that is the way to go. And then just reduce the Ancestral to 3%. Because right now, as it stands, I just got to say this as well. Right now, as it stands, Chambers is like the gatekeeper to all your magic damage, which is really crazy when you think about it. Like you're literally getting 16% of your magic damage from Chambers. Like you're literally getting, and more if you're including like the Kodai and stuff, which I guess we don't need to include. But the fact that you're getting 3 pieces of 4% Ancestral plus Augury at 4%, that is ridiculous to come from one piece of content. Like that is actually wild. So I don't think that's really a great thing to do, to just dominate Chambers with all your magic upgrades, because what if people don't want... I mean, it would be more fair if they actually touched on the Chambers drop rates. That's my personal take. I know that's maybe not super popular for some out there. I am curious to whom it is popular. So let me know down in the comments if you actually agree with my statements that I've made for the past several months talking about Chambers drop rates need to be increased. Like those drop rates are so wildly rare. The fact that a Tebow for an average, above average player that's not super efficient, doesn't have all the good gear, is looking at a 500-hour grind to get a Tebow, that is just wild. That is way too much. It's way too much. And I just think it's absolutely ridiculous. So seriously, like, it's just, at some point, we got to look at those drop rates. I feel like people are get super dogmatic with like, no, don't change rates. Do not change rates. Do not change them ever. And I honestly just think it's a bad way to look at it. Like Chambers would be literally so much more fun if you got more purples. Like it actually just straight up would be. It would affect the economy a little teeny bit, but supply and demand always equals out. It would be fine. Like other pieces of content, like if those prices drop, other prices will increase. It's just like everything will be fine ultimately. And the other thing I wanted to say that I already touched on a lot with BC Guppy was the Nightmare drop rates. These need to be improved way more. Like they just have to. They have to be improved way more. And if you're not going to touch at least the Inquisitor's pieces and Nightmare staff table, from making it a 1 in 200 to a 1 in 50 or 1 in 150, if you're not going to touch that, at least touch the orb table. This orb table, it was 1 in 960. I'm saying literally double it from the 1 in 720 they've already done. Make it so the orb table is 1 in 360 to get an orb, because that basically makes it so it's like a 1 in 1,000 something to get a specific orb. That would be so much more reasonable, and it's still astronomically rare. It's literally still astronomically rare, and they need to do that. Like, I'm sorry, like if nothing else, make the orb table a 1 in 360 or whatever. And honestly, I know the jar is pretty irrelevant, but what the fuck is the jar doing at 1 in 4,000? What is it doing? And when I say I'm only focusing on Fasani's, but those relevant changes would also be made to the normal Nightmare as well, just, for consistency's sake. But the Jar of Dreams, I'm sorry, that Jar of Dreams needs to be like way, way, way more common. That should be like a 1 in 1,000 at max. Maybe 1 in 1,000, honestly. So I don't know. They need to. This is just not good enough. It's not good enough. It's still a shit show to grind this place. It literally is. Like, the orb should not be that rare. It should not take 22 or what is that? 2160. 2,160 Fasani's Nightmare to go for one specific orb. Because if you go 3 times rate, you're looking at over 6,000 kills. And 3 times rate is common. Like, that happens all the time. Nobody wants to do 6,000 fucking Fasanis for something. Like, Jesus Christ. Sorry, I'm just so butthurt about that still, and I have to make it known. So, sorry. Let me know what you guys think. The other thing was Inquisitor's Armor. Honestly, I need to make this point again. And kind of hammer it down. Honestly, Scythe should not have a crush option. There will be some downsides to that. Clearly, there will be some meta changes. There will be some other problems with it potentially, but I feel like the pros outweigh the cons. Get rid of the crush option to the Scythe. Like, just do it. It opens up so much more possibility for crush weapons. And the fact that why does a Scythe crush? Like, look at a fucking Scythe. How is that crushing? It's the same, like, animation. Like, what is even happening? How does it even have a crush option? I know it's going to change things, but I'm holding my view on this and saying that the Scythe should not have a crush option. It just shouldn't. It shouldn't have a crush option. Get rid of it and make it so the Inquisitor's Armor across the board is a 7.5%. So it's affecting all crush weapons, not just the Inquisitor's Mace, as they've said here. So that's my view on it. Let me know if I'm going crazy. Let me know what you guys think. Is that, too wild for me to say? But yeah. Anyway, that's all I want to say on that. So thank you all for listening. I was going to try to do a live ramble for this, but I just decided not to just because it was like some other things that I wanted to touch on, and I felt like it would get just like too overwhelming or too long-winded. But I do appreciate all of you guys for listening to all the rambles. It's really it's amazing to get to do what I get to do and just talk with you guys and get a bunch of feedback from the comments. So thank you guys. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. If you guys, again, want to support my content directly, there's a Patreon link and a YouTube membership link. And that is like the direct way to support me as a YouTube content creator. So thank you very much, guys. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.